Hi, I'm Barbara Cade. Welcome to the Blue Rocks Studio Gallery. This space is devoted to my landscapes. I'm doing this show entirely by myself this year. These are the landscapes. Some of them are very realistic and others are looking rather abstract, but I take photographs up close. And sometimes when you do that, it looks, the end result looks very abstract. The background is wool felt, it's handmade felt, done with the wet felting process. And on top of that are pieces of material that I have turned into tree trunks, and I have used wire, I have used yarn, and I made rocks, and they are all attached then to the background. So it's this is probably the most detailed thing I've ever done. It's a seascape from I would call it a lakescape, I guess. It's a dock, and the water underneath the dock. And I'm getting ready to do some additional work to it, to do some work here to the piece. This is a piece of wood, and I want to add some more, I guess, tree lines. It's at least 2 weeks to do the background. You have to wait sometimes for things to dry before you can do another technique on top of it. These are some rocks that they're copies of rocks that I collected, and they're clay. I do some clay work, and I just happen to like rocks. They have glaze on them, and then the ones that have the black are fired in an outdoor kiln, so they have that fire. Very primitive. This one has lots of color on it, but it's a stain that's put on, and then they've been fired in the outdoor oven, so it gives all this great variation of a color. I do work in the schools, and I'm getting ready for next year, actually. So I wanted to do something that didn't have a border. I thought if you're doing work online, which is something I think we're still going to have to do next year, the class will be online, and so I want to do something without a border. This one is a little bit big for what the kids can do, so I have to make it smaller. Here's a pot that I made in exactly the same way as the rocks that you just saw. I had this pot, I made this pot a long time ago, didn't do anything with it, and I finally put some of the stain on and then put it in the fire, and that's the result. These two things, I worked with a friend one time, and we made some little collages, and these are the two that I happen to like the best. And this body of work over here is memories. This one is garden memories. I'm not much of a gardener, but it seems to me sometimes when I go out there that there are things that show up that I didn't plan. Maybe maybe there were seeds in some of the dirt that I bought. I don't know, but I call this surprises in the garden. I'm taking a drawing class at the Arkansas Art Center with Robert Bean, and so I've set this up. I work over here, and he's on the computer over there on the desk. So it's very time-consuming. This happens to be some rocks that he gave us some pictures to draw, and we were to do it in a certain way. And so I'm learning a lot because I had never had a formal drawing class. Here are some more of the memories. This is a portrait of my friend Karen. It's kind of fun to think back. I've known Karen for, gosh, at least 50 years. And so it was fun to kind of go back and kind of pick out the essence of that person. In the beginning, I was a weaver, and I hand spun wool. And if I hadn't learned how to spin, I would not have made the work that I did, because the yarn that you can make on a wool wheel is not like you would make on a smaller spinning wheel. This wheel was made by the husband of a friend of mine. He made it on a handmade lathe He lives in Washington State, and he made one for his wife, and then he offered to make me one, and it's just been a great thing that I had that. I could never part with it. Nature has been a part of my art from the very beginning. I did work the sculptures that honored nature by the materials that were in it. I used a lot of bones and feathers, and made images that I hoped honored nature. So I still hope to see some people coming on the was it the 2nd? On Saturday. If you come, please wear your mask, and we'll open up all the doors and windows, and it'll be hopefully a safe place.